Hello, and welcome to the Court Off Experience, where I talk Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes talks from the fans' point of view. So if you're liking this segment, please hit that like button. And if you enjoy Buckeye content in general, please subscribe. Help a brother grow this thing out. So with that said, let's just jump into it. We knew it wasn't over. We knew it wasn't done. Another salvo's been fired. Colorado has announced they are moving on to the Big 12, and can you blame them? Can you blame them? The Pac-12, they haven't been able to do nothing. Can't get a media rights deal. They can't get nothing going. The thing with San Diego State fell apart. Whose fault it was, but that was just bad all the way around. And Colorado said, hey, we had enough of this. We're going to go back to the Big 12 and we're going to do our thing there. And it's good for them, I think, because they never really, did they really ever really seem like they fit in the Pac-12? They never seemed like a right fit for me from the get-go, and they never found their footing, never got going. It was just a bad matchup all the way around, and it was just a bad matchup, bad pairing, and I don't think so they're gonna pick their ball up and they going back to the Big 12, and I don't blame them, because what they're doing, what the commissioner doing the Big 12, I have no idea. If you can't lure San Diego State, where San Diego State's we're gonna stay in the Mountain West. If it's like that going on, what's that say about the Pac-12 and their future? But I think it's a good move for Colorado, particularly at this point in time. It's going to be a good move for Deion Sanders, because I still don't know if the brother can coach. I mean, everything's turning up roses for Deion. First of all, SC and UCLA were leaving, so that he would have had an easier path in the Big 12. I mean, in the Pac-12, given that, but he didn't have to deal with them, and now he's going back to the Big 12, where it might just be a little bit easier for him to get his footing, some more comfortable ground in the Big 12. I think it's going to work out for Deion. We're going to actually see if he can coach. And he has Baylor he'll have to deal with moving forward, some Texas Tech, but that Big 12 is not as strong of a football conference to me, even with the departures of SC and UCLA. I think Deion might have an easier time of it in the Big 12, and we'll see, because I think he was going to struggle in the Pac-12, particularly if SC and UCLA had stayed, because I think it's a step up in coaching, and we're going to see if he can actually coach. We're going to see if he can coach. He had the athletes there at Jackson State. Wherever he was at before, he had the better athletes. He did well there. He's stepping up. I'm going to see if he can actually coach to some of the bigger programs, and then some of the more bigger and high-profile programs. So I think this is a good move for Colorado at this particular time, and really a good move for Deion. So we're gonna see what he is. We're gonna see what he's all about. We're gonna see what he is all about in Big 12. They doing their thing. They're doing what they have to do to make sure they remain relevant moving forward. We know the big dogs right now are the Big 10 and the SEC, and the Big 12 is trying to be that third. They're trying to be that third big dog to remain relevant in the college football landscape, and they ain't holding back. They're being real aggressive. They got Cincinnati, UCF coming in, and got the other program, BYU, and now they're bringing in Colorado, and they may not be done. They might be trying to become the first big super conference, because depending on how things shake out, there's reports they're going after Arizona, and it may just go after the remaining four corner schools, being Arizona State and Utah, to round out the four corner schools. So it's going to be interesting how that works out moving forward for the Big 12. And again, so Colorado, this move might be setting off another round of shifting, moving about who's going to do what, who's going where, who's going to make the next move now, who's going to make the next move now. And I'm looking at you, Tony Petitti. What are you going to do to make sure the Big 10 stays at the forefront? stays at the forefront. And I hope he is aggressive in this. So you got folks in the ACC already saying, what happens if the ACC splinters? You got some folks want the SEC to pounce, be proactive, make the first moves, and I'm hoping, depending how things play out, this is one time. I don't think it's a marathon. It's not a marathon. It's a sprint. You got to get who you going to get, who you want. You can't be reactionary in this instance. You got to be more proactive. You got to be the first. You got to be the first. Especially if the ACC splinters, you got to make the first move. And I don't want to be caught reacting the way we did with Oklahoma and Texas. Because when this stuff happens, it happens fast. Everyone says we ain't doing nothing. We're not looking to expand. Tony's come out and said we're not looking to expand. Yada yada yada. I'm with some of the other folks that say, yeah, they always say that we ain't looking to expand at this time. But we know what's going on behind the scenes, and boom, Oklahoma and Texas off to the SEC. Big Ten, we ain't gonna do nothing. They're doing that. They're doing that thing. And what happens? Boom, out of the blue, SC and UCLA to the Big Ten. So Tony can say he ain't looking, Big Ten ain't looking, or the other coaches can say they're not interested, but we know what's going on behind the scenes with this latest move by Colorado. You cannot say you're not looking and standing pat, because previously he said he did not want to be the demise of the the Pac-12, excuse me. The Big Ten did not want to be responsible for the demise of the Pac-12. Sorry, that ship sailed when y'all took SC and UCLA. It wasn't you, Tony. Kevin did that, but it was going to be a uphill battle for the Pac-12 anyway, because you were never going to replace those type of brands. I don't care who you bring in, you was never going to replace SC and UCLA and remain relevant. So we're going to see. I hope he doesn't stand pat and wait for the SEC to make a move. He should be proactionary, more proactive in this sense. Don't wait around. We know who we want. We reacted last time. The SEC went out and got Oklahoma and Texas, and I thought everyone was waiting to see what Kevin Warren was going to do. Was he up to the task? And me personally, I thought he did a great job in bringing in USC and UCLA. I think it could be argued it's a better move and a better get than Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC, just for the whole totality of everything, because they bring in some sports that the Big Ten has not been good in. Now, let's face it, a lot of their non-revenue Olympic type sports. Big Ten is not as good as some of these sports that SC and UCLA are good in, and a lot of the Olympic non-revenue sports that Oklahoma and Texas are taking with them to the SEC. SEC's already good in it for a lot of those. Softball, baseball, some of these other sports, track and field. The SEC's already good there. So from a whole standpoint, we look at everything, of course, television markets. You're getting the whole Los Angeles television market. And I think, again, that speaks, I think that in and of itself is just way beyond what Oklahoma and Texas are bringing to the SEC. So, but again, that was a reactionary move. We reacted to what Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC, and this time around, we know it's coming. We all know it's coming. We know it's coming. For them to say and pretend like it's not coming, pretend like we're going to not expand any further, you're not fooling anybody. In this point, is you got to get in. You got to make the first move, and I hope Tony makes the first move. And what I mean by that, we all know who the Big Ten wants. Notre Dame. I've been saying it. A lot of the fans have been saying it on the different poster boards. We're going to expand. We got to try to come up with a scenario to get Notre Dame, because they're the last big remaining brand out there. And now, I ain't going to rehash the whole thing. Go back and look at some of my previous realignment posts. My post on realignment, and I got it all broken down. Corey put on his commissioner hat, and I broke it down for our folks. Core Dog said, we're going to do this. I had a West Coast scenario to get Notre Dame, and had an East Coast scenario to get Notre Dame. But the bottom line is, Tony, you want to make your mark, you got to get Notre Dame. And I gave you ways. Just follow my blueprint, and you can get Notre Dame. You know, we can be fan friendly to SC and UCLA and go the West Coast route to get Notre Dame. Again, I ain't going to break down the teams. Y'all got to go look at my stuff and see how Core Dog broke it down. And then, East Coast scenario to get Notre Dame. And that one's a bit more complicated because it's about breaking up the ACC, which I think you have to do to get Notre Dame. Because right now, Notre Dame football is fine. This ain't about breaking up the ACC is not about the football team. Breaking up the ACC is about breaking up the conference, so Notre Dame does not have a place to put all its other sports programs. Notre Dame could probably survive. Their football team could probably survive independently. But the other programs, not so much. The other programs need a place to play. They need a conference to play in, and right now the ACC is that conference. So if I'm Tony, I am trying to destabilize the ACC as much as possible. I don't care how you gotta be ruthless sometimes. You gotta be cutthroat. I'll try my best to destabilize the ACC. Then once you destabilize the ACC, you bring in some of the ACC members, and like the writer there out of the SEC country. So if the ACC splinters, you don't want to be getting the scraps. You want to get who you want to get. You want to get, especially, I think there's only two programs in the ACC that both the SEC and the Big Ten really want, and I think that's Virginia and North Carolina. Those two are to me, in my opinion, Core Dog's opinion, those are the two coveted programs in the ACC that both conferences would want for all the stuff we just mentioned. Good football program, good television markets. And I know you can't break up North Carolina because of their rivalry with Duke. You bring North Carolina, college basketball, men's college basketball is not the same. I don't think the North Carolina Duke rivalries all that anymore. No Mike Krzyzewski, no Dean Smith. Who cares about North Carolina Duke and basketball? The players are one and done anyway. I don't know none of the players anymore. I could care less about the basketball rivalry. You go get North Carolina and Virginia, because you know who wants North Carolina and Virginia? The SEC. But hey, we should be real. I hope Tony is proactive in going after those two programs, because I think those are the two programs that both the conferences really want. And let's face it, the ACC, they're on the brink themselves. They are on the brink themselves. A lot of those schools went out. They're in a terrible TV deal, and they feel they're going to fall further behind in terms of money. And they are absolutely right. Florida State. So this is my scenario. I'll give you real quick. I think if you wanted to break up the ACC, if they're on the brink of teetering or falling apart, Tony should put his foot in there and help it happen. Help it happen as soon as possible. And then I would invite Virginia, North Carolina, Notre Dame, and at the time I would have invited Florida State, because they were applying for AAU status. You know why they were applying for AAU status? Because they wanted to get into the Big Ten next. They know that was a criteria for the Big Ten. So they applied for AAU status. But you know what? That got shot down. The Regents or the AAU or whatever, they went with South Florida instead.
Oh my God.
Over Florida State. So that door may have just slammed shut on Florida State ever getting the invite to the Big Ten. South Florida, on the other hand, who knows? Who knows? They got AAU status now. Florida, you can't get Florida State. Why not South Florida? I'm just throwing it out there. I would, at South Florida market, big TV market, be easier to get them. A lot easier to get them to Florida State at this point. I'm just saying. Don't be shocked. We brought in Rutgers for what? Wasn't for their football. We brought in Rutgers for the TV market. We brought in Maryland. Wasn't for their football. We brought in Maryland for the TV market. So don't be surprised if that's a wild card. South Florida, AAU, South Florida market. Get yourself on the East Coast. South Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Notre Dame. I'm just saying. You break up the ACC, that's one way to make Notre Dame think just a little bit more. Where are my other sports programs going to go if the ACC splinters and fall apart? I'm just saying. So, so Tony, hook your man, call your man up. I'll tell you what to do to get to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame might be so stubborn they'll still remain independent anyway. But I got scenarios for both situations. Check out my other videos on my realignments. So check it out and see what you think. My West Coast thing had Colorado in the mix, but it can still happen. I don't think they signed anything official yet. Colorado can still come to the Big Ten. I'm just saying. This is a lot of interesting stuff going out there, and who knows? Both conferences may want to just stay pat as it is. There's that previous talk about the alliance between the Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC. Pac-12 and the ACC may go ahead and do their own alliance anyway. I mean, there's worse kind of if they were to do that, it'll be equal to what the Big 12's doing. You'd have Oregon, Washington, Clemson, Florida State. I mean, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in conference-wise and all this realignment talk? But I hope Tony does not stand pat and wait and see what other conferences do. I think he should be more proactive. The fans know who we want. The fans know who, because it's not going anywhere. I think it would be terrible not to do nothing and just remain status quo and have other conferences do that. Then you are going to get the scraps. And the Big Ten is not a scrap getting conference. We should be getting the cream of the crop. We should be able to pick and choose who we want at this time. We already got the most money. We should be able to pick and choose who we want. And if we got to rub someone the wrong way to make that happen, so be it. It's a cutthroat world. So I'll still go after the ACC because I want Notre Dame when it's all said and done. If they're going to be that stubborn to remain independent, so be it. But I'll make it as difficult, life as difficult as possible for them to remain independent. You got to break up the ACC. They went out anyway. You be doing them a favor, Tony. You be doing them a favor to help them break it up. Then you get Virginia, North Carolina, Notre Dame, South Florida. If not South Florida, you can go get Georgia Tech because that's another big TV market. Georgia Tech's always there lurking. Because TV market, again, TV football program ain't been nothing, but it's the Georgia market. So I'm just throwing it out there. But that's South Florida, that AAU status now, that's interesting. That's going to be interesting. I'm not saying it's going to happen. They would have to do some other improvements and stuff. But hey, it is out there. So we will see. It's going to be interesting how this stuff plays out. Because when it happens, it's going to happen fast. Because look what's happened. Look how the other stuff has happened was announced. Oklahoma, Texas, out of the blue. No one saw it coming. USC, UCLA, out of the blue. No one saw it coming. Colorado, you could see it sort of coming, but still. What were the Pac-12 officials saying just prior to the announcement? Oh, we want to remain together. We're staying intact. We want to. And then boom, Colorado drops this. So I'm just saying, when it happens, it's going to happen fast. They talking behind the scenes. We all know it. For them to pretend otherwise. Come on now, fool me once. Fool me once. Kevin got us. So that SC UCLA came out of nowhere. But you ain't fooling me again. Y'all are talking. And something's going to drop. May not be this year, but something's going to drop. And when it does, we're going to be like, That's how Florida's sneaky. We're going to see how that plays out. But anyway, that's my quick reaction on the Colorado move. More stuff is coming. More stuff is definitely coming. The realignment is not done. More moves are going to be made. It's just a matter of who's going to do it first. And I hope the Big Ten is the aggressor in this case. Just saying. And on a final note, I don't know if this video is going to get posted before the fight, but I am a big fight fan. I've been waiting for this fight forever. My man Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. I got Crawford. I've always been a Crawford fan. I predict he's going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the stoppage, but I say it's going to just. When is the last time we had a fight of this magnitude? They don't fight each other no more. I'm so just with boxing. They don't fight no more. I'm so happy they're making this fight, but it's not back in the golden era of boxing. These dudes fought each other. Every fight was a big fight. Now we get excited when they step in the ring with each other, but this is the good one. This is the good one. Long time coming, and I got to go with my boy Crawford. So we'll see. I'm gonna be watching that one. But again, so until next time, if you're liking this segment, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. What do you think about all this realignment? Should the Big Ten remain passive and just react to what the SEC does? Aren't y'all tired of reacting to the SEC? For once, let's just do something. Let's be proactive. Let's make them react to us. Hit me in the comments. Hit me up in the comments what you think Big Ten's next step should be. Should we go after Notre Dame? Should we have another thing and just expand further west and go after the west, some more West Coast teams to help SC and UCLA? Or should we be cutthroat and go after the ACC and just grind it in on them and get who we want? We the big dogs, money wise. We the big dogs. Let's get who we want for once. I don't want no scraps. But if you're liking this segment, please hit that like button. If you enjoy Buckeye content in general, please subscribe. Trying to build this thing up. Help a brother out. So until next time, OHIO, go Bucks.